You know what I want? I want to watch the 5 a.m. with Jillian and Rob. It
Fox
begins.
and First continues right now. Thank you, Carly and Todd. Good morning. It is Thursday, November 22nd. A Fox News alert stopped at the door.
Overnight, the brand new plan from the Trump administration that could force illegal immigrants to stay in Mexico as they try to seek asylum. Also, stepped up security. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade kicking off in just hours with millions of people set to line the streets of New York.
Oh, man, but with high winds and freezing cold temperatures, will the show go on? We are live in Manhattan, and it could become one of the most heated debates around your table today.
Unless you talk politics. When it comes to cranberry sauce, are you team canned or team fresh? We've got your answers. Oh, come on. You got to have some cranberry sauce. Nope. It's Thanksgiving morning as Fox and Friends First continues right now. The winds are not too, I mean, the winds are really bad right now.
I know. Every meteorologist has been saying you're kind of right on that line of, are they going to go? Are they not?
Because you got to hold those things, and you got people down there trying to control them. It's not easy. Good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this Thursday morning. I'm Rob Schmidt.
And I'm Jillian Mealy. Thank you so much for starting your Thanksgiving with us. And look, if you're one of many having turkey troubles this morning, we are here to help. Not us. We don't know what we're doing.
That's
she
right.
is. We have an expert.
All morning long, we're going to be answering your questions, such as, can you cook a turkey with a cigarette lighter?
What?
Send us an email, or you can post on all our social media pages, and we'll get you the answers that you need just in time to set the dinner table.
Well, these things that come to your mind, I don't even know how they come to your mind. Okay.
I think it takes about 4 days.
But first, we do begin with a Fox News alert, and a new plan could force migrant caravan members to stay in Mexico until their asylum cases are processed.
Garrett Tenney is live in Washington as the president fires back at some who are trying to halt his agenda. Hey, Garrett.
Jillian and Rob, good morning to you. This new plan is reportedly called Remain in Mexico. And according to the Washington Post, asylum seekers will no longer be allowed to enter the country and stay here while their claims move through the immigration courts. Instead, they'll have to wait in Mexico unless they can prove they have a reasonable fear of persecution there. Now, this comes as the White House is giving U.S. troops at the border more authority to protect Border Patrol agents and detain migrants, though Defense Secretary James Mattis described the detention this way, saying, I would put it in terms of minutes. If someone's beating on a border patrolman and if we were in a position to have to do something about it, we could stop them from beating on them and take them over and deliver them to a border patrolman. This week, President Trump went after a federal judge for ruling against his new asylum rules, which banned anyone caught crossing the border illegally, referring to him as an Obama judge. That prompted a rare response from Chief Justice John Roberts, who said, we do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges. What we have is an extraordinary group of dedicated judges doing their level best to do equal right to those appearing before them. That independent judiciary is something we should all be thankful for. Now, President Trump fired back, tweeting in part, sorry, Chief Justice John Roberts, but you do indeed have Obama judges, and they have a much different point of view than the people who are charged with the safety of our country. Now, President Trump attacking the third branch of government is nothing new, but for the head of the judiciary to respond so publicly, that really hasn't happened until now. Jillian and Rob.
All right, Garrett Tenney, live in Washington. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the back and forth between President Trump and Chief Justice Roberts has earned the president a lot of criticism.
But CRTV host Michelle Malkin is calling it political posturing, and she says the president should be praised for keeping his promise to keep Americans safe.
I really don't appreciate that kind of compulsion to do this kind of virtue signaling and posturing. Justice Roberts has done this before. I think that President Trump has treated it exactly as it should be. He's, kind of brushing it off his shoulder. But the policy issue here is a serious one. And thank goodness we have a president who is trying to tackle it. Our asylum system is a joke. The people, those radicals who are funded by left-wing groups in the immigration lawyers lobby know that it ain't over till the alien wins. And with asylum fraud, you've got all of this gaming and enabling going on, and it is not fair to people who are legitimate asylum claimants.
Absolutely.
And it certainly isn't fair to anybody else who's waiting in line to get into this country the right way.
All right, Customs and Border Protection officials estimate around 2,300 more Central American migrants are now moving through Mexico, likely to join the hundreds of others already in Tijuana.
Hey, Fox News alert. A massive anti-terror operation is underway in London after 2 suspected bombs are found hidden in an apartment. People living in the surrounding homes forced to evacuate as investigators searched the building that is under renovation. Police say the bombs appear to be improvised explosive devices. No one was home at the time and no arrests have been made. The U.S. and South Korea are scaling back military exercises amid ongoing negotiations with North Korea. Defense Secretary James Mattis says the annual springtime exercises will be reorganized, but did not explain any further. Several military exercises have been suspended in the months since President Trump's nuclear summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un in Singapore.
Well, the Woolsey fire in California finally contained after burning for nearly 2 weeks. But that area, which is near Malibu in Southern California, is not out of the woods just yet. A rainstorm today could trigger dangerous mudslides. More of a concern, though, in the north. The rain forcing campfire evacuees out of their tents and into shelters. This wet weather, it could be a lot of rain, could also complicate search efforts around the state. 86 people confirmed dead in the California wildfires, 700 still unaccounted for. And that rain could be trouble. Today, President Trump will speak with American heroes, sacrificing their Thanksgivings with their families to serve this country. But even though they are not at home, our troops will still get special dinners. The Pentagon shipping more than 300,000 pounds of turkey around the world, along with 81,000 pies. That's 12 times as many as last year. 7,800 gallons of eggnog.
Whoa.
That's a lot of eggnog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we are just hours away from Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade right here in New York. Police really stepping up security and unleashing a brand new safety strategy.
Matt Finn joins us live with more on the tight security right outside. Hey, Matt.
Good morning, guys. Well, Macy's Thanksgiving Parade kicks off at 9 a.m. right here in Manhattan. 3.5 million people are expected, and security is going to be ultra tight. Right now, police barricades are up. Thousands of uniformed and undercover officers are preparing to mix with crowds and performers. The NYPD already screened the balloon inflation ceremony, and at this morning's parade, police will also be implementing checkpoints, barricades, and bomb-sniffing dogs to prevent terror attacks. Police say as of right now, there are fortunately no credible threats.
A lot of uniformed officers, a lot of counterterrorism resources, critical response command, strategic response group, and a lot of plainclothes officers that you won't see. But they're all out here to keep everybody safe, to enjoy this wonderful event.
The NYPD says some of its specially trained bomb-sniffing dogs can now pick up the scent of explosives from hundreds of feet away. The NYPD began working with these dogs last winter to make sure they could perform effectively in New York, and authorities are warning the forecasted frigid cold is a major concern, so bundle up if you're going to brave the weather outside. There are trucks filled with sand to block vehicles from getting into the parade route, and I have to say, we saw a lot of cars being told all night to keep the streets clear for emergency vehicles.
Yeah, it was tougher to get in here this morning in the overnight hours because we had all the barricades and all the police officers pretty much at every corner.
Yeah, 6th Avenue shut down already. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
And this Thanksgiving is extra special for 2 kids in Florida. Landon and Taylor Dean were preparing for a school play, but missing their Navy mom who's serving overseas.
Dear Mommy, thank you for fighting for America and protecting people in North America.
That's cute. What they did not know is that Mommy was waiting backstage. Sailor Holly Dean returning home from a 6-month deployment, hugging her 2 kids.
Were you surprised?
Yes, like infinity% surprised. All the way over the earth.
Oh, that's a cute kid. Dean says she is excited to be home for the holiday, as you might expect. Great to have some time with the family.
So great.
Yeah,
Gotta love that. It is 9 minutes after the hour. President Trump spending Thanksgiving in Florida, but is set to face several high-stakes political and policy decisions when he returns to Washington. From the Russia probe to immigration, Kayleigh McEnany is live next, breaking down the key issues set to take center stage.
And do you use Amazon? Most of us do in one way or another. Your information could be in the hands of hackers.
No.
They had a data breach just hours before Black Friday.
But first, we asked you what you are thankful for on this Thanksgiving, and your responses came flooding in.
Kathy, grateful for her loved ones, for her family, Ashley, Kellyanne, Natalie, and Lee.
Beautiful. Patricia is thankful her husband was able to get special leave to attend their son's wedding. Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, and our production assistant, Emily, thankful for her loving family and very supportive boyfriend.
Beautiful. Happy Thanksgiving to you and welcome back. President Trump spending this holiday at Mar-a-Lago, but once the holiday's over, he'll be returning to a long presidential to-do list.
Yeah, a lot of things to take care of. Here to break down some of the biggest issues on his plate after the holiday is RNC spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, thanks for coming on your Thanksgiving day. We appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving, Kayleigh.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Yeah, so let's start with Russia. Answered a lot of questions this week. The special counsel has the answers. Some Republicans think this thing's about over. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is about over, and it should be about over. You know, Robert Mueller should really question his probe when the majority, or I should say plurality of Americans have soured on him, according to recent exit polls. 54% say the Russia probe is politically motivated. Most people want to see it come to an end. It needs to be fair. It needs to be speedy. But I think it's time to wrap up. Most Americans agree with that.
Yeah, I think some people kind of get tired of the same thing over and over again. There's a statement from Rudy Giuliani, which reads in part, the special counsel has been provided with more than 30 witnesses, 1.4 million pages of material, and now the president's written responses to questions. It is time to bring this inquiry to a conclusion. So we will see if that happens. Let's move on to China. President is scheduled to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the end of the month. What do you see happening there?
Yeah, so this is the first president who's had the courage to take on China. The United States has sent 142 demands to China. The idea is to level the playing field. China has this plan called Made in China 2025, where they seek to capture industry entirely, deprive the United States of the ability to produce key industry. So the president is taking China on, and the fact that China is even brought to the negotiating table is a significant win for the president. We'll see what happens at the G20.
In Buenos Aires. Yeah, that should be interesting. All right, let's talk about immigration as issue number 3. Now that the Democrats have at least some say in policy making in the House, do you think there's a better chance of some kind of a deal happening?
Look, I hope so, but this is up to the Democrats. This president extended a compromise plan to the Democrats. He said, hey, if you give me the border wall, I will give you a path to legalization for DACA citizens, or DACA recipients, I should say. And, you know, that's a fair deal. It's one that's a big compromise for the president, and it's up to Democrats to come to the table. The majority of Americans want a compromise immigration plan. The president's provided one. Will Nancy Pelosi accept? Big question there.
Now, one of the things that a lot of people see as potentially something that realistically can get done with bipartisan support is criminal justice reform.
That's right, Carly. This is huge. This is something that for decades and decades and decades we have wanted to see. Van Jones, Jared Kushner, Democratic Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Republican Congressman Doug Collins all got in a room and said, let's make this a reality. So this is up to Democrats. It's up to Republicans in Congress to make this a key goal. It's one that can pass through Congress. We rarely see bipartisan reform, and certainly not on as significant as a basis as criminal justice reform. This can happen, and I just hope folks get in a room, because this is a very big deal.
All right, so let's talk this final Senate runoff race here in Mississippi. After what we saw in Alabama last year, you guys got to be a little bit nervous about having a race this close for Senate in red Mississippi.
It's close, but nevertheless, when you combine what the two Republicans won prior to the runoff, it was 58% of the vote. So I do believe Cindy Hyde-Smith will win this. We don't take any seat for granted, but come November 27th, I believe Cindy Hyde-Smith will continue to be the senator from Mississippi. It's a big race. It's important, and it's key to securing our 53-seat majority there in the Senate.
All right, lots to do. Kayleigh McEnany, thank you. Enjoy your holiday.
Thanks, you too.
It is 17 minutes after the hour. Dramatic video as an apartment building bursts into flames. A baby tossed out the window to open arms below.
She finally trusted me, and she dropped the baby, and I hurried up and caught the baby.
Wow, the heroic bystanders who stepped in to help.
Great catch. Not sure how to carve the bird that's about to be on your table? Well, we've got a master chef here to show us just the way to do it, and we're actually trusting Todd Pyro with a knife. which goes against our corporate policy. You're not going to want to miss any of this.
Law enforcement agencies across the country get a major boost from the DOJ. Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker announcing $56 million in grant funding.
Terrorists are going to continue to target us, so we've got to keep targeting them during the holiday season and all year round. And so I want to assure all of you that this work remains the top priority of the Department of Justice. We will not let up.
The money will go towards training and equipment like bulletproof vests and body cameras.
First Lady Melania Trump and Demi Lovato's mother speaking out against the opioid epidemic. Together, they're participating in a town hall event at Liberty University in Virginia next week. The Homeland Security and Health and Human Services secretaries will also be there. Demi Lovato was hospitalized last summer. The singer had an apparent drug overdose and is currently undergoing treatment.
If you are hosting Thanksgiving dinner at your house today, we've got the tips you need to help you carve the perfect turkey.
First of all, get a knife. Here to show us how it's done is Master Butcher and the author of the Everyday Meat Guide, Ray Venezia. Did I get that right? Venezia?
Yes, Venezia.
Venezia.
He sounds like he's good at carving meat.
All right. Okay, so you've got a number of tips here. First things first is you have to let it rest. Is that right?
Absolutely. You want the meat to rest. As it does that and starts to cool, it will absorb all those natural juices and flavor back into the meat so it doesn't run all over your cutting board.
Okay.
Right? Then after you let it rest, you want to set up your cutting board. You want to go from the turkey right to your platter. So this way your cutting board stays nice and clear, so it's safe, and you want to do it on the cutting board so that you can do it correctly and against the grain.
So what is correctly?
And where do you start exactly?
Okay. Well, again, if you don't take the pieces off the bone, you can't cut against the grain for the tenderness. So you start with the first wing section. Okay, you leave the bottom wing section, put it right on your platter. You leave that so you have a little more stability with the turkey as you go.
Okay.
Then you go to the back leg.
Start with the legs there.
Okay, so the breast continues to cool.
Okay.
After that, you want to separate.
You want to separate.
You want to separate through the drum and the thigh. You take your thigh, you take the bone out.
Okay.
Okay, so after you've done that, you're going to slice your thigh meat, and your thigh meat will go on the back. Okay. After you've done that, you want to come just underneath the top of the breastbone with your knife, just the tip of it, and you want to run it along there so that you open up the breast. You also know it's cool enough when you can still touch it with your hand, because you don't want to pierce it with a fork, because again, you're letting more of the natural juice and flavor out of the turkey.
Okay. What's the most common mistake people make?
Not letting it rest and then trying to cut the breast off of the turkey. The bone is round and you can't go against the grain. And because we have mashing teeth, if you don't cut it against the grain, it will not be tender. It won't fall apart when you bite down on it.
When we ultimately do our competition later on today, it's going to be Carly, Rob, and Todd versus each other. Jillian's going to be the judge. How will we be judged? Like, who's going to be the winner? Like, how do you win?
Who's going to be the winner?
Great question. Well thought out.
To be honest, in my world, the winner is when you take it off in those whole pieces, you also get more out of the turkey.
Okay.
So when you can do that, you're not only going to be able to slice it correctly, you're going to get more from the bird. So I'm going to look to see how those nice pieces come out, you know, if you get those nice big pieces off.
Quality of cut, not how much we've destroyed.
Yes.
Right. Like when we interview world leaders and people, and I mess up a question about how you carve a turkey and how people are going to be judged.
Yeah, even though
you take the wing, you take the. I mean, we're getting into the weeds here, guys.
Yeah.
You pull the breast off, and then you got to cut.
Then you're going to slice it against the grain.
Okay.
Which is against the way you see lines in the meat.
Okay.
It's against that, and then this way it comes apart like that.
We're going to slice some of these bad boys up later in the show.
You can't do that if you look. You can't do that when it's on there.
Yeah.
And this bone is curved.
Right.
You got to get it off.
You place it on the cutting board. Now you can
the
slice
ticket
it
right
safe
there.
and correctly,
and
it's nice and tender.
Hope you guys were all taking notes.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Jillian's going to judge us. And that's it. 26 minutes after the hour, we're ready for our turkeys. A community asking for answers after a family of 4 is killed and their mansion is torched. This is a bizarre story. The family member that is now facing charges.
And millions bracing for the coldest Thanksgiving in over a century. We are talking bone-chilling temperatures packed with strong winds that could ground the Macy's Thanksgiving parade floats. Adam Klotz, live in New York City, out in the cold. We threw him all the way out there and said, stand out there all day. He's got the frigid forecast.
Freezing his butt off, I can tell. But first, more Thanksgiving pictures from our viewers. This is a viewer who's thankful that her husband is spending Thanksgiving at home. We love that.
And Lisa Schaefer is grateful for her children, Ryan, Reagan, and Michael. Beautiful.
One of the writers of this newscast, Amanda, thankful for her mom, Donna Lynn, dad, Tom, and her sister, Christina. Here for the 92nd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and gusty winds are threatening to ground today's star attractions.
Meteorologist Adam Klotz, a star on his own, is live in New York City's Upper West Side, where the parade is set to kick off in just a few hours. Will the balloons go? Will they fly? That's what everyone wants to know, Adam.
Jillian, Rob, you know, it's really going to come down to a game time decision when you start talking about will these balloons fly, won't they fly? But the temperatures, it is frigid out here. If we top off at 26 degrees, which is what is forecasted, that'll make it the second coldest Thanksgiving we've ever seen. Now, talking about those giant balloons, there's 16 of them. The NYPD has set up devices all along the parade route, and if winds hit a particular level, that would be a sustained wind of 23 miles an hour, a gust of 34 miles an hour. It's going to be required that those balloons come down. In 2005, the large M&M balloon caught a big gust of wind and it hurt 2 spectators. That's something you don't want to see repeated happening again this year, so that's something that's going to be monitored closely. If we can take a look at the weather maps, you know, we've been right up around those wind gusts already through the overnight hours, and it's going to be something that's going to have to be continued to be watched. Current wind gusts across the Northeast, you're looking at spots getting up wind gusts of 30 in Boston. LaGuardia, though, currently a wind gust of 26 miles an hour, so that's not strong enough you'd have to take down these balloons, but it's getting close enough that you'd have to pay attention. Now, when you talk about the wind, the other thing you notice, the wind plus these very cold temperatures, that's when you get a feels like temperature. Feels like 10 degrees currently in New York City, 0 degrees in Boston. I'll show you something for folks to be thankful for. Not everybody is standing where I'm standing. Look at some of these temperatures across the country. 61 degrees today in Kansas City. So maybe people in Kansas City have something to be thankful for. But out here, guys, it is going to be very cold, but we're hopeful that those winds stay calm enough that some of these balloons that are behind me are going to be able to take off here in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, that's still a cool scene there on the Upper West Side when they blow those up. It's always a fun morning. Hopefully everything goes off without a hitch. Adam, thank you so much. All right, this is a very scary story here, and a mystery surrounding a deadly mansion fire deepens in New Jersey. Police finding Keith Canero shot dead right outside of his burning home. The bodies of his wife and 2 kids found inside. Miles away, police arresting Keith's brother, Paul Canero. Now, he is accused of setting his own home on fire with his family inside. His wife and kids, though, got out safe. The deaths being investigated as homicides. The brother has not been named as a suspect at this point, but we'll see what happens.
Wow, disturbing story.
Yeah.
Well, the jury in the case of a murdered New York jogger wanted more time to deliberate. A juror tells the New York Post they were not all in agreement when a 4-woman sent a note to the judge ending the case in a mistrial. Chanel Lewis is accused of murdering Karina Vetrono while she was jogging in 2016. A retrial is expected next year. Attorney Michael Avenatti will not face felony charges after being arrested for domestic violence. He could still face a misdemeanor. The victim in that case has not been identified, but actress, what is her name, Marlee Manuti? Is that right, Rob?
Marlee Manuti, yeah.
Yep, recently filed a restraining order against Avenatti, claiming he physically hurt her. Avenatti denies all accusations.
All right, a Good Samaritan, this is a great story, races into action to catch a baby thrown from a burning building. Stop what you're doing and check this out for a second. You see that? Can you imagine dropping your child from the 3rd floor? The baby's desperate parents punching out a window, tossing the baby as their Dallas home filled with fire and smoke.
I told her, just drop it, I'm gonna catch the baby. So she finally trusted me and she dropped the baby and I even caught the baby.
Great catch, man. The cause of the fire under investigation. Nobody was killed.
That man is a hero. The oldest American Pearl Harbor survivor has died. Ray Chavez passing away in his sleep at his home in San Diego. He was a Navy quartermaster in Hawaii when Japan launched its attack in 1941. President Trump just met with Chavez on Memorial Day. The White House tweeting, quote, "We were honored to host him at the White House earlier this year. Thank you for your service to our great nation, Ray." Chavez was 106 years old.
Oh, what a story there.
Wow.
All right, just in time for Thanksgiving, the world's largest can of crisps cranberry sauce arrives in New York City. People cracking it open at Ripley's, believe it or not, tourist attraction there in Times Square.
The Ocean Spray jelly is made with 57,000 cranberries and could serve over 3,000 people. And we asked you, what kind of cranberry sauce do you prefer? This is always a debate every year. Are you hashtag Team Canned or hashtag Team Fresh? Jimmy on Facebook says, hashtag Team Canned all day, every day.
How can you want anything out of a can instead of fresh? I don't get it.
Well, this viewer
a viewer on
agrees with you.
Instagram says Team Fresh. There you go, my Rosebud Garden.
And Lisa on Facebook says, I will eat both, but family loves the canned. Every year. That debate's never going to end.
I'm sure you probably got more sugar in the can. That's probably why people like it more. I would suspect.
Okay.
All right, 36 minutes after the hour. Don't let your Thanksgiving turkey burn down your house. What not to do if you're going to deep fry.
Plus, if you're hitting the road to Grandma's house this morning, you are not alone. It is officially the busiest travel day of the year.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. All the people that don't know how to travel are here today.
Can't wait to get on a train in a couple hours. What to expect, whether you're hitting the road, skies, or the rails.
He makes a good point. As you get ready to put the bird in the oven, our Butterball expert is here to answer your last-minute questions. All morning.
Well, this is not good news. Amazon revealing a glitch as holiday shopping kicks off. The company blames a technical error after some customers had their personal information revealed. Amazon says the issue is now fixed and that none of its systems were breached. It is unknown how many shoppers were affected. So check your stuff.
A warning before you fry up your Thanksgiving turkey. This is why you have to defrost it first. Yeah, you don't want that to happen in your house.
No.
That frozen turkey turning into a fireball, the Northport Fire Rescue in Alabama making a very helpful video to remind people to follow the directions if they insist on frying their bird, which I've heard is delicious, by the way. They suggest using oilless fryers, an oilless fryer.
All right. Cool.
I don't cook turkey, I don't know.
I don't either. The holiday rush is on. A record number of Americans expected to travel this Thanksgiving.
Mike Tobin brings us some massive numbers as he talks to people that are taking to the skies on this holiday.
If you're traveling this Thanksgiving, you'll have lots of company. AAA predicts 54 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more between Wednesday and Sunday. That's the highest number since 2005. 48 million will be driving to their destinations.
People have more money in their pockets. Household net worth is up. Disposable income is up. Consumer confidence is up. And when we have a little time built into our schedules, we take advantage of it.
Air travelers are bracing for long lines and delays.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. All the people that don't know how to travel are here today.
It's honestly kind of hectic. You never know if you're going to get delayed or not, but, we're going to try our best.
But most say it's worth all the headaches to make it home for Thanksgiving dinner with family.
Yeah, I love to eat. I want turkey and mashed potatoes. I want it all. And my yams. Everybody eats my yams.
TSA officials in Chicago say they're ready for the Thanksgiving rush, and they're urging passengers to get to the airport early.
We recommend that you arrive at least 2 hours before your flight. We're going to have additional hours. We're going to have all lanes operational.
Officials anticipate more than 2 million people will travel through Chicago's O'Hare and Midway airports alone, and Sunday is expected to be the biggest day. At Chicago's O'Hare Airport, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
All right, the balloons are ready. So are the police. In just hours, millions of people will line the streets of New York City for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. What to expect as the NYPD steps up security. We are live right here in Manhattan next.
But first, let's check in with Ed Henry to see what's coming up on Fox & Friends. Hi, Ed.
Good morning, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to have Bass Pro Shops in. I promise you, it's going to look a little more interesting by then. It'll look a little bit more like the parade. I'm not saying we're going to have floats here. This is kind of just one little sad little turkey all by its lonesome, but we're going to get him some friends. I promise you. And Fox & Friends is going to be amazing today. McCarthy, he's going to talk about all the great legal issues. The Mueller investigation, the president going back and forth with Chief John Roberts. We also have Corey Lewandowski, the president's former campaign manager, coming out shortly. And then Charlie Kirk is going to be here as well, talking about the big political issues of the day. So we're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk politics, guys.
And we're going to get a better set, and we're going to get you a new mic.
We're working on it.
We're going to do all sorts of stuff in the next 15 minutes.
But the priority is the friend for the turkey. I mean, that's,
you know. And a buddy for the turkey. Ed, thanks so much. We'll be right back.
right, we are just hours away from Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and police stepping up security and also unleashing a brand new safety strategy.
Kayla Mamalak from our Fox affiliate here in New York City joins us live with more on some very tight security. Hey, Kayla.
Oh, yeah, tight security, just like there would be in any New York City, big New York City event. But you really don't have to be a kid to be excited about today. This is truly one of the most iconic New York City traditions. And while we are expecting a lot of celebrities to walk around the parade route, the real guys people are coming here to see from all over the world are these guys. 16 character balloons, 43 novelty balloons will march along the parade route. However, with these gusty winds and low temperatures, the question really this morning is, are they going to fly? Now, the cutoff is about 34 miles per hour. Right now, we're hearing about 30 miles per hour is what we're expecting throughout the day. It is possible that they'll lower those balloons or they may not fly altogether. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. As for security, NYPD ramped up. There's police officers all along the route. Some you will be able to notice, some you will not be able to notice. But the police commissioner, Commissioner James O'Neill, says there is no credible or specific threat to the parade or to New York City as a whole. As for the weather, sub-freezing temperatures expected today. It's around 30, high 20s, but it does feel like it's around 5 degrees out here. Mayor de Blasio, New York City's mayor, is asking people to bundle up. He says, wear every layer you physically have in your home. For now, we're live along the parade route. I'm Kayla Mamalak. I'll send things back inside to you guys.
Just cold thinking about that statement. Thank you, Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla.
All right, it's time to talk some turkey. And if you're already up prepping your holiday meal and just not really sure what to do with your bird, we have got you covered.
Beth Summers, the Butterball Talk Line expert, is here answering your top turkey troubles this morning. Hey, Beth.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Let's start with one from Kim in Connecticut. And this is a great question. How do you keep your turkey from being dry?
This is a great question, and the answer is to use a meat thermometer when you're cooking it, because when you cook your turkey to the appropriate temperature, which is 170 in the breast and 180 in the thigh, it will be perfectly cooked and still moist and juicy.
All right, so Josh from New York wants to know, how often should I baste the turkey?
I love this question because the answer really surprises people. You don't need to baste your turkey. Basting doesn't actually do anything. Think about the skin of your turkey as a raincoat. When you pick up juices from the bottom of the pan and you squeeze them or spoon them back over, they simply roll back off the turkey and into the bottom of the pan. And you've opened up your oven, lost a lot of heat, and you've actually probably extended your cooking time a little bit. Don't baste your turkey.
That's actually a very good point. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Jordan from Texas, what are the best seasonings to use?
This is a great question, and seasonings are extremely personal. You know, some people like sage, some people like rosemary. We have lots of different recipes at butterball.com, but the simplest thing that you can do is simply salt, pepper, and vegetable oil. It's going to give you really nice flavor and a beautiful crispy skin.
Okay, so Sarah from Tennessee wonders, how big is too big a turkey?
That's a great question, too. We recommend for generous servings and leftovers that you plan for about 1.5 pounds of turkey. But what if you're having 30 guests? We actually suggest people cook 2 smaller turkeys or a smaller turkey and a couple of turkey breast roasts in that situation, because the turkey has to fit into your pan. So the question is, how big is too big a turkey? Well, the answer is, well, how big is your pan?
Okay, so there's this challenge going on. We want to get your opinion on this turkey challenge that has gone viral. And what's happening is kids are sending text messages to their parents saying, how long do you microwave, or can you microwave a 25-pound turkey? And the parents are freaking out. Now, Butterball had an interesting answer to this, right?
Yeah, you know, we have laughed along with these texts as well. The responses are amazing. But we actually help people every single year who, for one reason or another, don't have access to their oven or a grill or any other method to cook. So we can help people cook a 12-pound turkey or under in their microwave. And believe it or not, it comes out very moist and juicy.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times people that need this method have been displaced from their home for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's actually a really great thing to be able to offer people the ability to do it in their microwave if they need it. And if you do need that, it's a little bit involved, but we'll talk you through it if you just call us at 1-800-BUTTERBALL.
That's fascinating.
I am very fascinated by how that would work. I thought that was just a joke. Beth, thank you so much. We appreciate it. That's good to know.
Thank you.
All right, earlier we learned from the master, and now we're going to put some of the skills that we think we learned to the test.
No.
Who will win the Fox and Friends First Turkey Carve-Off? We're putting 30 seconds on the clock, which I don't think is enough time.
Todd's scaring me right now.
Carly's scaring me.
But first, more Thanksgiving pictures from you, our viewers. Oh, Todd is very grateful for his family. Look at that beautiful, large family.
Yeah, that's the hot toddies right there.
That's not.
Oh, that's not. Oh, okay. Sorry, Todd. I thought I was trying to find you in the picture.
Family.
Yeah, Todd, you got a nice family anyway. Our production assistant Corey, thankful for his family.
Oh, love that. And our director Rusty, thankful for his beautiful kids this Thanksgiving. And we love your dad. We're saying.
There you go.
You stay there.
So we got some tips on how to do this thing. We got these birds here. We got Carly and Todd, and we got to chop them up.
And we're ready.
And the jackets are off. And Ray, give us a quick update on exactly what we need to do here to do this right.
Okay, the quick refresher is the wing first, the first wing section, then the leg, separate the thigh from the drumstick of the leg, then you take the piece of breast off and the whole piece so you can slice it on the cutting board.
And I'm the judge. And just to make a note, I see that wing is already a little
Can we stop it? I came here in the commercials.
And if I could, you have all these great turkeys.
10 points from
I would like to thank my nephew Joey Corrado and Corrado's Market in Clifton, New Jersey for getting these turkeys for us this early in the morning.
Okay.
Are
you guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
30 seconds on the clock.
Quality,
Let's
not quantity.
Start now. Okay.
Let's say this isn't a very good knife.
Already complaining.
Try to sharpen that.
Slice. You're not using a saw. Slice.
Sorry.
Oh, threats of a human stampede at the border. Fox is news exclusively that things could soon escalate. White House giving Defense Secretary General Mattis authority for the troops there to use lethal force if necessary. Our asylum system is a joke, and thank goodness we have a president who is trying to tackle it.
Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts is directly contradicting the president tonight on the subject of judicial bias. President Trump follows a long line of presidents who have attacked judges. John Roberts ought to grow up.
Millions of people lining the streets of.
We need to discuss.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay. There's not.
Clearly, Carly's
not a lot going on here.
How is she going to win? Mine's beautiful.
Carly did a really good job.
She got the whole thing off there. Look at that.
We had to deduct points though because you started early and
they're
then
deducting
late.
points on me.
Yes, absolutely. I would say Carly was the winner. Yes.
Carly won.
Thank you. This is so satisfying. In your face.
If you're going to carve a turkey for Thanksgiving, I suggest you get a better knife.
No,
That's
one
the first
thing
thing.
Ray, that you stressed is against the grain. Did anyone go against the grain here?
I don't think we got to that.
Well, until you start slicing the breast
Yeah,
is
what
when
does
it
that
really
mean? So
comes.
I'm cutting this
that
way.
means this would be
that
like
way.
this.
Okay, right.
And it would slice this way.
Well, listen,
But
honestly,
Carly's got it's ready to go.
And the way you know that is when you slice it, you see like a crisscross pattern in the meat. And
Right,
then you
they're
see
giving
it
us
just
the wrap.
comes apart.
Oh, I see.
Todd just wants to eat.
Hey.
Yeah, we just want to eat. Don't invite any of us
And
over
I don't know. I picked up a knife and used it. You're burning the knife. That seems a
Ray,
little
thank you
unfair.
so much. We're going to call this a newscast.
Way to go, Carly.
I think it was one.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Enjoy your bird.
Threats of a human stampede.